Historic night. Princess Leonor of Asturias dances with future king, romance sparks fly. Soft violins, crystal chandeliers. Spain's future queen glides across a polished marble floor. Suddenly, gasps from the crowd. Princess Leonor of Asturias, dancing with a future king. But the truth behind this night isn't what anyone expected. A single evening, a single dance, and a story that could change two royal families forever. Tonight's story begins inside a historic palace hall in Madrid. Cameras flashed, journalists whispered, and the Spanish royal court assembled for a state gala unlike any in recent memory. At the center of it all stood Princess Leonor of Asturias, radiant in a midnight blue gown that shimmered with every movement. Across the room, a young heir to another European throne, groomed from childhood for duty, watched her with a mixture of admiration and curiosity. The orchestra shifted. A waltz began. Guests moved aside, sensing a moment about to unfold. Leonor extended her hand. The future king accepted. As they stepped onto the dance floor, the palace seemed to hold its breath. For decades, royal matches had been whispered about, arranged, or carefully managed. Yet here was something different, a dance that felt unscripted, electric, and entirely human. This was not their first meeting. Months earlier, at a diplomatic reception, subtle glances and polite conversation hinted at a friendship forming beyond protocol. Letters followed, then quiet exchanges at official events. Tonight, however, everything became visible, two young royals in full view, their connection undeniable. As the waltz continued, reporters scrambled. Was this the beginning of a cross-border alliance? Could this be the first chapter of a modern royal love story? Inside the hall, tradition clashed with emotion. Some senior courtiers frowned, others smiled knowingly. Leonor's parents, King Felipe and Queen Letizia, maintained regal composure, but their eyes betrayed a mixture of pride and protective caution. The dance ended, but the story didn't. Guests whispered about the way they laughed softly, the way she leaned in to speak, the way he listened intently. This was more than etiquette, it was chemistry. And yet, beyond the sparkle, there were questions. What pressures would they face? Could two young heirs carve a path for themselves in the 21st century while upholding centuries of expectation? Over the next minutes of our story, we journey deeper. We revisit Leonor's upbringing, her rigorous education at Atlantic College in Wales, her training in statecraft, her rare glimpses of teenage freedom. We contrast it with the young future king's life, his Nordic upbringing, his public image shaped by tradition and privacy. Both raised under a spotlight, both yearning for authenticity. We explore the reactions. Spanish tabloids printing speculative headlines, Danish commentators weighing the possibilities, royal watchers across Europe debating whether this was diplomacy, destiny, or just a youthful spark. We examine how social media amplified the moment, clips of the dance going viral, hashtags trending, fans dissecting every gesture. Then we shift to the private stakes. For Leonor, every friendship, every appearance, is scrutinized. For him, every companion could become a headline. How do you nurture something tender under such scrutiny? Former palace aides recall how past royal romances were either stifled or sensationalized. This night might signal a turning point, a generation refusing to hide behind protocol. As our narrative unfolds, we weave in expert voices, historians noting the symbolism of royal dances in forging alliances, body language analysts interpreting subtle cues, commentators reminding us that a single evening does not guarantee a lifelong union. Yet the emotional impact is undeniable. For many viewers, this dance represented hope, a vision of monarchy evolving, becoming more human, more relatable. Halfway through, we revisit the scene with fresh details. The music chosen for the waltz, the arrangement of the tables, the subtle smile from Leonor's sister Sophia as she watched. We hear from onlookers who describe the atmosphere as charged and historic. We delve into archival stories of other young royals whose first public dances hinted at future marriages, noting the similarities and differences. Then, as the final part of our script, we follow the aftermath. What happened when the gala ended? What private conversations took place in quiet corridors or behind car doors whisking them away? Palace insiders speak of a short but heartfelt exchange, a promise to meet again under less formal circumstances. Friends close to both families hint at mutual respect and cautious optimism. We end not with certainty but with curiosity, keeping the audience engaged. Will this connection blossom into a royal romance bridging Spain and another kingdom? Or will it remain a single unforgettable dance, a symbol of possibility rather than destiny? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear: on this historic night, Princess Leonor of Asturias and a future king gave the world a glimpse of something rare, authentic emotion shining through centuries of ceremony. As the camera pans out from the glittering hall, we leave viewers with the image of two young people at the threshold of history, their hands touching briefly as the music fades. A dance, a spark, and perhaps the start of a new chapter in Europe's royal story.